And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, my surprise futures family. Yes, it is a surprise recap today. Got news they weren't going to be doing the podcast, so they asked if I would do a recap today. So here we are. I hope you had an interesting trading day. I know it was a tough start. A tough start in the Maycoke money section as well. I did recover some of those losses for us today. So, and as always, no harm, no foul. It is Thursday still, November the 17th. In case you don't know me, I'm John. Thanks for trusting me with your time. I'm glad we had a recap today because there were a couple of things we talked about this morning that really could have provided some good opportunity. One in crude oil and then one in the S&Ps, which again was a tough trading day. But it really probably shouldn't have been. I mean, we had some nuances early in the session, especially with a little help from the NASDAQ with the opening range remaining the low, that we were looking forward to an inventory adjustment. Never mind that. We'll take a look at that in the charts here in just a couple of minutes. The E-mini S&Ps closed approximately, not for sure, down 15 points, 0.38%. NASDAQ down 33 points, 0.28%. And right at 3 o'clock, the Dow reached zero. No change. Steady for the Dow futures. Crude prices, a tumble. After finally accepting below weekly kickoff low in that head and shoulders pattern breakout. Hi, Lacey. Lacey says hello, everyone. She's right here. You see her nose. There it is. Whenever I start talking, she seems to want to come over and say hello. The Euro overnight breakout from balance. We talked about this breakout yesterday, I think, in a bunch of different places. It happens to overnight. I hate it when that happens, and it made for a tough trading day today. When a market opens, we're all expecting volatility. We're expecting good opportunities early in the session, and we did get one. Just didn't feel that aggressive, and it wasn't. We'll check that in the charts, but we just came back far enough in the S&Ps just to close that gap before sellers took over and started pushing the market lower again. But we got to see how this day ended up. As far as Fed speak is concerned, Neil Kashkari has been quoted as saying, "I hope projections that inflation will drop in 2023 are correct. If they are, I would imagine we would stop raising rates." Why wouldn't you? He says the CPI and PPI indicates inflation is leveling off. He also says it's debatable how high rates should be. Bullard, a couple of good quotes from Bullard today. So far, any signs of disinflation are speculative at best. October inflation data was encouraging, but it could easily go the other way next time. And that this one is, to me, one of the most honest statements I've seen from a Fed chair or anybody in government, if you will. The Fed has been burned by inflation for the second year in a row. Remember it was going to be transitory? I guess not. But it's nice to see some honesty from one of our Fed chairs. It's good to see everyone this afternoon. Scott saw you first in the room. You win the prize. Vince, good to see you. DA, hope everybody had a good day as well. Mike, Kevin, good to see everybody. Yeah, okay. Kashkari was Uber Hawk recently. This means Goldman's long 100%, right? Gold government sacks. Interesting. What else? I don't know. Make sure you hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome. It's Thursday. Tomorrow, we've only got a couple of economic numbers coming out. Existing home sales, of course, misleading indicators, both of those at 9 a.m. Central. We got Susan Collins speaking at 7:40. Who knows what she's going to be talking about? And that's going to be it for the week. It's Friday. Don't forget, next week is Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. We'll be having the regular programming, I guess you could say, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday is going to be Thanksgiving. Nobody should be doing anything on Thanksgiving but giving thanks. And we are also going to be off on Friday, so no events on Friday. Limited access to support, and take the day off anyways. It's a good day to take off. Take yourself a 4-day weekend this weekend. Do something nice for yourself. And then back to business after that. Let's jump into the charts and take a look. So we were looking at crude oil this morning, and we've been really kind of testing weekly kickoff low, really seeking acceptance below it, but we have not, or until today, been able to find acceptance below it. Rollover was today to the January contract. Make sure you're trading January, and next week on Thursday or Friday, of course, we won't be here. Where the natural gas is going to may roll a little bit early or a little bit late. We'll keep an eye on that the Tuesday and Wednesday and see when we're going to be switching over to the January contract for natural gas. But we were looking at a couple of things. We have an M formation. Now, this is usually, of course, going to be a reversal formation, although it seems as though this is more range bound, right? We also did kind of work our way up to a head and shoulders. So if we've taken this head and shoulders and broken out below the neckline, here's where I've got the top of the head, where I'm showing the neckline is basically last week's range. If we take it lower, then our potential move downside is down around $75. Well, we got a good start at it this week. We got a good start at it today. The market opened below weekly kickoff low for a change, opened with a gap, closed the gap, couldn't accept inside value from yesterday, and then it was all sellers from that point forward until finally we just did a dead cat bounce and kind of quit for the day. Hello, Halim from Peru. Hatim from Peru. Sorry about that. I can't see sometimes. The print is really small on that computer. Check out the S&Ps. So we've been kind of discussing the idea that the upside auction has been suffering. It's fallen into balance, and sometimes balance is enough to adjust inventory. Today we opened below the low end of that balance, and we looked like we were going to be getting a pretty decent pullback, but all we did really for the first half of the day was come back and close the gap. Check this out on the 30-minute chart. Oops. Didn't think it was going to go. So we open, we test this point of control right as we open and after. Got a little thing going on here. Let me get for the session, which made us all crazy and make money. But the market comes and basically trades to close the gap. Now, looking at my notes this morning, we were looking at a potential visual target below of the naked point of control. Now, recently, within the last couple of weeks, I've had somebody ask, is a naked point of control a good place to take a trade? In this case, it would have been a perfect place to take a trade. If we were to be able to hold those longs down here, we would have been able to take the whole move up to the gap close. We gap close. We come down. We get get to basically these candle body tops, and then we turn the other direction. I think this market held up very well today, and at least gave us a decent opportunity off the gap close for about 20-25 points. If we were in trouble, that was the savior for me today. So looking at my notes this morning, I said, if we do head north, if we do head towards the gap close, I'm looking at the area between 39.51 and 39.61. 51 and 61 as really the kind of zone where this breakout to the downside occurred. Sometimes the market will come back to that zone and then provide another opportunity, which is exactly what I was looking at here this morning. This move up to 61, whatever the high was, right here. What was it? 62.5. So it went 6 ticks through that 61 low, closed the gap, and then turned the other direction. There's always an opportunity. Some days it seems a little bit more vague than others. Now we had the NASDAQ, which was more of a channel, an upward channel that broke out to the downside here this morning. Well, kind of a similar situation, but a little more difficult. Why? Because the market didn't get to this visual target down here in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ left the opening range at the low of the day, where the S&P took a couple of little looks down below the opening range. The NASDAQ also traded into value from yesterday. Did it show any signs of acceptance? Perhaps. It sure tried to get in there, but then finally was rejected. So I think that the levels that the S&P provided today were a lot more reliable and visible than anything that we could have seen that would have put in this low, at least what I'm looking at now. I mean, we've got the value high from this day here, which was the 10th. Where are we, though? It's not like we traded down to this naked point of control and turned around. Hatim, these are more the charts that I look at. That S&P chart had VWAP and standard deviations of VWAP, which is actually something that was suggested that I put on there. Usually I'll take that off before the market forecast, but this is just the recap. Okay, noticing also in more holistic look, in a more holistic view of the market, that the auction in the upside in gold was also suffering. We got a decent look at it within a couple of points on Tuesday, lower low, kind of an inside day, and now some continuation to the downside. But I don't think that there was great opportunity in this. Okay, here is our overnight. We were unable to close the gap, which has us looking for opportunities to trade in the direction of the gap. But if we were able to catch this move, that was pretty much it for the day. This market also checked out. What it did do was traded to a weakness down below the marketplace in the form of this gap, which remained unchecked in regular trading hours. Well, now that's checked. One visual off the table. Euro, again, rejection above weekly kickoff high as the dollar kind of came back a little bit. So goes the euro and the S&Ps. Overlapping value. Nope. Value absolutely lower. Still in range, in balance. Still lots of weaknesses down below with which to check, but not today. What did the 10-year do? I didn't even look at the 10-year today. Resistance, weekly kickoff high. Here's the 30. barely getting outside of yesterday's range today in a small range. Small opportunity. Check out the net gas. So a push at the kind of extremes of the highs here. Did we get a chance to close the gap from our... Nope. We still have our island top right up here. We're unable to close that gap. The market did, I believe, close this gap, however. But again, that gap close was more supportive than accepting. Right. So, it has been a long week. I was exhausted yesterday after the day we had yesterday. And got a really good night's sleep. Going to try and get another good night's sleep tonight so that I'm rested and ready for Capital Preservation Friday tomorrow. Haven't seen what we've got here in this day in history. The Suez Canal opened in 1869. Suez Canal. I didn't know about this, but in 1968, I guess TV viewers became outraged as a football game is cut off to air the movie Heidi. In 1963, if you're old, in 1973, if you're old enough to remember this, this is the day that Nixon insists that he is not a crook. The Terminator becomes the governor of California on this date in 2003. And a couple of things in music today is Gordon Lightfoot's birthday. Gordo, born in 1938. It's 2022. The man is still out there doing it. He's still out there putting out concerts. The man is a legend. And 1973, the Who's double album Quadrophenia enters the UK chart, peaking at number 2. One of the best albums in the world, Quadrophenia, if you know Quadrophenia. And that's going to be about enough of all of that. Let's get some good rest tonight. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Make sure you pray for peace. You get a good night's sleep. Spend some time with your loved ones. And I will see you tomorrow morning for the forecast at 7:45. Almost said 7:15. Must be tired. Looking forward to seeing you then. We'll have a good trading day tomorrow and then have a nice weekend. Good night tonight, and bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.